Hello, lovely. So today I'm touching on a very important and popular topic that I come across all the time from both women who are looking to start a new business or those who already are in business. And that topic is how to deal with overwhelm in life and business. So today in this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips that I've applied in my own life and business to deal with overwhelm. All right, so let's get right to it, shall we? So my first tip is writing in the morning, every morning, for at least 10 minutes. Now, I started doing this daily practice in the morning about 2.5 years ago. And it was after I read a book by Julia Cameron, and it's called The Artist's Way. And she talks about the morning pages in there. At first I was like, I'm not doing this. This seems too woo-woo for me. But I started doing it and literally my life changed 1 month later. Now, that's a story for another day, but the point is writing in the morning really helps give you mental clarity. And again, it doesn't have to be something that's super, time consuming. Just 10 minutes dedicate to yourself. And through that writing process, it'll give you mental clarity. Anything that you're feeling, anxiety, stress, overwhelm, sadness, happiness, whatever it is, just get it on to paper and let it go, right? So it gives you mental clarity. It helps you come up with new ways and to solve problems, to solve big problems. It gives you creative ideas. I'll give you an example. I was working on a project a month ago, and it was a pretty big project, and I was writing about it. And as I was writing about it, I happened to come across a really neat idea on how to accomplish that project in 2 weeks versus 1 month. And I probably wouldn't have thought of that if it wasn't for me writing about it and just, jotting it down on paper, right? So writing in the morning for at least 10 minutes goes a really, really long way and helps you reduce all that stress, anxiety, and overwhelm that you have inside of you. It's just letting it go on paper, okay? And now some people ask me, well, what do I write about? Anything that comes to mind, right? I'm not a writer naturally. So when I first got started, I would literally just write the same thing over and over again. But then when you're writing, things will start flowing to your mind, okay? So that's my first tip. Okay, so my second tip is outsourcing. And I have an acronym for this. It's called PPP. That's process, people, and projects. So let me walk you through this. Process basically means that if you have any repeated tasks in your life or business that you want to accomplish, but you're having a hard time accomplishing them, create a process around it. I'll give you a perfect example. Fitness was a huge problem for me before. I really wanted to work out, but I would never find time in the day. And I created a process around it. So what I do now is during my morning ritual, I write for 10 minutes, I eat and stuff, and I work out for 20 minutes. So I know that every morning I have a process that I need to go through. My writing is part of that process. My working out for 20 minutes is part of that process, right? So it's a trigger in my mind. I've created a process around working out. That's just one example, but try to find, tasks or things in your life that are repeatable, that you would be doing on a daily basis, that you can create a process out of. It's going to make you feel so much more less stressed, and you're going to feel like you have a lot more control over yourself and your time. The second is people, right? If you can outsource something to someone, outsource it. So whether it be cleaning, cooking, doing your laundry, that's more life related. In business, if it's designing or responding to emails and checking your inbox, these are things that don't necessarily require your brain power and can be outsourced to other people, all right? And the third one is project. Let's say you have a big idea. You have a new idea of launching a business, a project, or, a new product. You create a project around it, and that project will have goals, deadlines, and deliverables. You see, so if you create categories in your life and you put things in different buckets of process, people, and project, it's going to, again, give you a lot more clarity and make you feel a lot less stressed and overwhelmed, all right? So that's tip number 2. Okay, so tip number 3 is break down big ideas and projects into a step-by-step action plan. So I'm going to walk you through a scenario here to put this in perspective for you. Hypothetically, let's say you want to launch an e-commerce store with, selling a unique jewelry line. What you're going to want to do is you have this big grand idea, right? You want to break down what would the end result look like. Ultimately, what do you need to launch, right? So this is what I would do in this case. What I would do, the first thing I would do is research my competitors in this space, get ideas, see what they're doing. Second thing I would do is identify who exactly is my target market, like who is going to buy these unique jewelry pieces, and where will I find them? Okay, then identify your distribution channel. Is it gonna be Shopify, Amazon, eBay, Etsy, etc.? Third is identify your packaging design. Fourth is assess what your inventory, shipping, and return procedures will look like. Fifth is identify what is your marketing strategy. How are you going to get the word out? And then sixth is do a beta test launch. Don't worry about everything having to be perfect. That's something that, women specifically struggle with, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. Imperfect is perfect, right? So just go live after you've gone through these steps and start getting feedback, all right? So take massive imperfect action, break down big ideas and projects into a step-by-step action plan, and that's gonna help you reduce your stress and overwhelm, okay? So that is tip number 3. Tip number 4 is focus on one thing at a time. This is something that I personally struggled with for years, probably my whole life. Being an ambitious woman, it's very natural to us where we wanna do so many things at once, right? Maybe you can relate to this, but that then leads to overwhelm. And many times we don't end up doing anything, right? So what I did to really overcome this is really just start focusing on one thing at a time. So let me give you an example. In my life, there's been times where I want to improve my sleep, I want to improve my fitness, I want to improve my nutrition, I want to, self-growth, right? There's so many things. But when I'm trying to do all of that, I'll get overwhelmed and then I'll stop. So what I do is I'll go through phases, right? So I'll say for the next 40 days, I'm gonna work out every day for 20, 30 minutes. And then after that, for the next 40 days, I'm gonna go on a cleanse, right? For the next 40 days, I'm going to, focus on my self-growth. So I'm doing one thing at a time, and it makes it so much easier. Try that, okay? The second thing is in business, right? Focusing one thing at a time is so, so important. One of the biggest things that a lot of people get hung up on is, once they have their idea, they've kind of launched their business, it's like, okay, well, how do I grow it? Well, there's so many different ways to grow it, especially in the online world. There's so many different marketing channels and all this stuff to get traffic. You want to focus on one traffic strategy, one marketing method at a time. And this is a topic that I can talk about for days, but I'm not going to get into depth today. But what I always recommend is finding a marketing channel or traffic strategy that helps you systemize your marketing processes. So that helps you, really create a lifestyle and business around your lifestyle, okay? So that is tip number 4. Okay, and my 5th tip is automation. So, we as ambitious women want to accomplish so much in life, right? We want to create a business that is scalable, it's profitable, and it's doing big things. But at the same time, just because you're an ambitious woman does not mean that you don't want to have a life, right? You want to be able to enjoy everything that life has to offer, your kids, your husband, or your partner, your friends, whatever it is. So it's all about creating a business and life you love. And in order for you to do that, you have to automate your business, which means getting sales and leads 24/7, whether you're sleeping, you're taking a shower, you're enjoying with your kids, you're out there partying, whatever it is. You need to set up your business so that it's automated. Now, the beauty is that with an online business, there's so many ways to automate your business. There's automation softwares and tools and resources. Now, this is a topic that I can talk about for days, and I have other videos and content and products where I go into so much more depth on exactly how to apply this in your business. But ultimately, I really want you to start thinking about automation and how can you create a business that is systemizable so you're not working 24/7. Okay, really think about that, because automation is going to help take your business and your life to the next level. And that's tip number 5, and that is it for this week's episode. Now, I've personally applied these 5 tips in my life and have seen a drastic change in my overall happiness and productivity. So I'm sure if you apply these tips in your life and business, you'll see the same too. I love your feedback on this week's episode, so leave your feedback below. And also, if you have any questions that's on your mind, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll address a video addressing the most commonly asked questions. And lastly, if you got value from this video, please go ahead and share it with your ambitious lady friends that you believe will get value as well. See you next week.